Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast, so there I was. It's how all great aviation tales begin. This is episode 185. If your friends jumped off a bridge,
Would you?
Remember that question?
Well, we happen to know a guy that did.
That's right.
And now you're going to know him here really shortly.
Yeah, because his friend did. I mean, this week we go from solemn to stupid and talk about lost brothers and some of the antics we did that even made the military police a little nervous. But,
Yeah.
It was a fun weekend. We did the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps with some friends at a squadron reunion down in Pensacola.
It was epic.
It was indeed. And some folks I haven't seen in over 35 years. And man, was that nice.
It was really epic. That's only words I can think that describe it.
Boy, I've got hit between the headlights when we were actually toasting to our fellow Marines whom we had lost. When I found out we had lost a sailor by the name of Doc Barry Riddle, our squadron flight surgeon, was passed a couple years ago. That one hit hard. Barry was a friend, and we exchanged Christmas cards for years, and then he dropped off the planet, and now I know why. He literally dropped off
the planet. So, yeah, and who knew?
Yeah.
That was a hard way to find out.
It was.
We sat down with 4 of our squadron mates at a table Saturday morning, and you were going to listen in to, like you said, we laughed, we cried, and we laughed again.
We were sitting around busting each other's chops and other bodily parts. And you get to hear what that's like. This is an average afternoon in the ready room, or in our case, around the cigar pit. We've got real quick mention of a couple things before we get into some of the stories. We're going to have a show we're going to mention this week.
Yeah, a little cross promo. I'm going to step into the cockpit of history with the World of Warbirds. Brian Pierce brings you from concept to combat every week. And we'll tell you a little more about that later in the show.
Absolutely. So that may be a show worth you checking out. But I'll tell you what, we start off hitting it hard with Rusty talking about his rudder shutter failure. The rudder shutter needed to be connected if you were going to try and hover in a Harrier.
Yeah, they should all be connected. Every shutter should be connected, right? The ailerons, the rudder, the nose. But holy shit.
There was no emergency procedure for that. And fortunately, Rusty had the good air sense to put the airplane back in a controlled state and didn't give that one back to the government.
Right. He described it very well and used some common pilot sense, i.e., if you do something and you don't like the outcome, then undo it as rapidly as possible.
Right. Or you may come undone yourself. So then we talked about conventional landings and why they're unconventional in the Harrier.
Oh, yeah. That was a good discussion as well, which has come up before in some of our episodes, but we dove a little deeper this time.
Absolutely.
And then, hey, Bugsy had a unique experience with jam nozzles at the boat. That was also a attention getter.
Terrifying.
Yeah. That's
2 full words. Terrifying. He was jammed, so to speak.
Yeah.
He was in between a rock and a hard place. He was also against the OPSO going, I'll tell you when your jet's broken.
Right. Right. And limited options, and I don't want to spoil it, but you'll get the gist of it real quick when you see how it all laid out.
Again, fantastic airmanship. Either one of those, I'm not sure how I would have done when presented with those situations.
It makes your palms sweat.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and then we hit one we've talked about. I'm not sure we've talked about it on the show.
But it always comes up when we get 223 guys together. And we finally got him to acknowledge the fact that it happened.
That's right. That's right. So Rusty
talking about Rusty. Yeah.
Finds himself in his birthday suit.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Man. Hey, we've got one assignment for you as a listener this week. It's a simple one. Would you stop right now? No texting and driving. Pull over to the side of the road. Text 2 friends and tell them about this show, please. Just let two friends know. Or give them a phone call. If you want to keep driving, hey Siri, call two friends and tell them about So There I Was.
That's
see
free.
how that goes.
It's free. It doesn't cost anything to do that.
Awesome. Well, I think we ought to consider getting out of the way and letting people hear the bulldogs be bulldogs.
Yeah, let's do that.
Here comes Rusty, Moto, Bugsy,
Sleeper.
Sleeper. How could I miss Sleeper? If your friends jumped off a bridge.
Would you, Sleeper?
This here is a true story
We're gonna find out, folks.
about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fun.
There I was, flying the Harrier in Iwakuni, Japan, coming back in from a hop I don't remember because that wasn't the memorable part of the flight. What happens now is what was memorable in that I had got my reaction control, yaw reaction control, break loose, flopping around back there, giving me serious hard left and right yawing just as I'm slowing down into the hover for a landing, just below 100 knots. So
fishtailing like crazy.
yes, that's
All right.
the beginning of this.
And that's how all terrifying aviation tales
Terrifying.
begin. Man, greetings everyone. Repeat here, coming to you from Pensacola. The 250th birthday of the Marine Corps is coming up. It'll be past that date, November 10th, when this show comes live. But that was Rusty. Repeat here in Pensacola with my co-host.
I'm sitting right here next to Repeat,
Poor bastard.
and he hasn't showered yet, but that's okay. And we're sitting with Rusty and Bugsy on our reunion weekend. And that's terrifying. Let's back up a little bit. So, intake momentum drag, intake momentum, what was the technical term for losing control when you got out of,
A hard yaw.
when you're decelling and you got the nozzles down?
Yeah, explain the
defecate-
RCS too, reaction control.
Yeah, Rusty, explain the RCS.
Okay, reaction control system. The Harrier, obviously, if people know about it, has a system where you're able to control pitch, roll, and yaw with not just elevators and rudders and such, but when you slow down, those don't work anymore.
Yeah,
Because
because
you don't have any dynamic force.
no
there, meaning
aerodynamic. Yeah.
No Bernoullis.
None of that's working because you're not traveling very fast or not at all. So these things use little puffer ducts, they call them. Reaction controls. They're on the wingtip, nose, and tail, and they enable you to control the aircraft when it's basically below about 100 knots or so. And again, on the wingtip, nose, and tail, there's one that controls yaw. And that one, which yaw means left and right, like the nose pointing left
Okay.
or right. And that one broke. And it just started flopping around
At will, right?
at will. And so here I am. Yeah, there I was, slowing down, just about 100 knots, in Iwakuni, Japan, coming into there's a hover pad there. And these are specially made little areas, probably about a couple hundred feet by a couple hundred feet.
96 by 96?
Is that what it was?
Let's
Okay.
go with
There you go. So,
that.
I was just
They're
guessing.
tiny.
Yeah,
They're
that's
tiny.
more accurate. And they're specially meant just for Harriers. The exhaust out of the Harrier is so hot, like 720 degrees centigrade. It'll melt anything else except for concrete, or there's special aluminum matting that'll also take. That's it.
Your memory is way too good to pull out 750 out.
Yeah.
That was like 720.
It's just fucking hot, man.
With the water system, how coolly ending. That was like super, like a blowtorch. It would just throw concrete, I'd throw asphalt like it was mud. So I'm decelerating towards this pad I'm describing, and all of a sudden, very hard yaw left, and I counter with opposite rudder to try to straighten it out. It's a natural reaction. Boom, the airplane snaps the other way, all the way hard to the right. And now I'm like, okay, obviously I am not whatever I'm doing is not having any effect on what the airplane's doing. So my immediate reaction was, I'm going to go back to where this aircraft was in a state from which I can control it, which was about 30 seconds ago, where it had it was going faster with
airflow
forces.
Yeah.
The
Airflow.
airplane,
Yes.
the rudders and ailerons and such were actually working. So I just immediately threw the power all the way forward in the corner, meaning full thrust, and started nozzling out as fast as I could without stalling the wing. And came back around for what I considered to be a controlled landing, which was a slow landing. And as I was
Because a
decelerating,
conventional landing is not a controlled landing.
No,
that's
let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So I just did came around, did a slow landing about 120 knots, where I could still have normal wing surfaces controlled. But again, at this point, I didn't know what the problem was.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was reaction control. I didn't know if it was the rudder itself. I knew it was a yaw problem. That was it.
So the problem is you didn't do your pre-flight check, make sure that rudder was secure. Rudder shut.
Check the bolt, make sure the cockpit was in there.
Yeah, right.
So did it come disconnected?
Yeah, the bolt actually came out.
Holy
The bolt,
shit.
there's a control rod that goes back to the
Yes.
tail,
Yes.
and that connects to that thing. And the bolt is the hinge point there's a hinge point there, and that bolt fell out.
You'd think they'd put the bolt in top down, but
Yeah,
that's
Yeah. So it couldn't fall.
British engineering at its finest. They drive on the wrong side of the road. They put the bolt in from the bottom up.
Hey, and this kind
That's
of
all our Brits love hearing that.
look. Let's address first of all that in the Harrier there was no this part of the landing sequence. There was no fly by wire. You were physically controlling everything.
All push rods and
Yeah. Unlike the F-35 Bravo, which is
That amazes people.
PFM.
I ask that all the time. When you go fly, you know this too, because you'll fly with other aviators. They're like, "Oh, you flew the Harrier, right? Oh, shoot, that's great. I can tell you about that thing." And then you're like, then when you tell them everything was manual, there was nothing automatic at all about anything.
Right.
Everything is manually done, including the angle of the nozzles. And they're like, "What?" They think everything was kind of automatic, like in the F-14, where the F-14's
wing swing. Yeah.
wing swing was automatic.
The F-35, apparently, they hit a button, tell it to land on the ship that's there, and it's moving at this speed in this direction, and the plane just goes up and lands. It's like,
Hey, before we get too far downrange, one of you guys explain a conventional landing and how it's not really the landing of choice in the Harrier and why.
I can do that because I had to do it once. And this is stupid. I'll point out a stupid thing I did, but it worked out in the end. It didn't cause any issues, but would have been better off if I did different.
Is it really the stupidest thing you've ever done, Rusty?
Okay.
Asking for a friend.
Well, there's a laundry list. There's a laundry list. That's my wife. But so again, in Iwakuni, I take off full drop tanks, and we're going to Korea to do something. I forget what.
Whoa,
Again, it's not the most important part of the trip. I don't remember the rest of it. So right after takeoff, fire light goes on.
fine. That's fun times right there.
Right. Full drop tanks. Okay. What's the procedure? Okay. Go through it. And,
Red, yellow and black handle pull.
Yeah. So it's your fire could be two things. There actually has a physical fire back there, or it could be a bleed air leak, which creates a lot of heat back there.
Also bad.
Yeah. Procedure is to come back to a conventional landing with fire.
Yeah, because you're not shutting the motor down.
And I just did one loop around, said I've got an emergency, hold the tower, and came right back around. And the first landing, I went around.
Why?
It was freaking hotter than snot. I was doing 180 knots, and I didn't. My plan was to put the wheels down right on the approach end of the run, like with inches to spare.
Yeah.
Just to try to get it on the runway.
Brick one.
It's only 7,000 feet there. 75.
Standard Navy runway, Yeah.
So I'm trying to stop an airplane that's doing 180 knots, and that's very difficult.
With one
the
brake.
Harrier.
Yeah. Why?
Because we only have braking on the main gear. The main gear is just two little wheels underneath the fuselage.
Yeah.
Two.
So we have one brake.
And one,
with two discs.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then you got reverse. So that's help. You can take the nozzle lever, bring it all the way back to what's called
Braking stop.
the braking stop. And And that points the nozzles forward actually about 9 degrees. I think.
Yeah, it was 98.5 degrees full travel. So 8.5
So
degrees.
that provides some reverse thrusting. So I come back around again. The firelight's out now, by the way. So I can assume that was a bleed air issue. And this time I touched down right at the end of the runway. I used the entire runway up to get the thing stopped. And all of it. Yeah. To get the thing stopped because I didn't punch the tanks up. I should have punched the tanks up.
Yeah. So the tanks.
Right at the end of the runway is where I got enough. I slowed down enough to turn off.
Oh boy.
Left turn at the end, speed permitting.
So those drop tanks, 2,000 pounds of fuel in each tank. Is that about right? Yeah. So extra 4,000 pounds of fuel, 4,700 pounds internal.
Something like that.
So you're running. So you're
7,500
internal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So debrief item.
Yeah.
Drop tanks in the bay.
I mean, nobody. Rowdy was like, "Hey, you're carrying them around in a freaking wheelbarrow, dude. Not punching those off your balls." Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah.
So well, and then if your outriggers were underserviced or your mains were overserviced, you teeter-tottered down the runway.
That doesn't begin to describe. Right? The other consideration too is when you have the arresting gear rigged.
Oh right. Yeah. Snag an outrigger on the arresting gear if it's raised up. Yeah. So that's Bugsy, by the way. We got Bugsy from the True Lies episode. I think it was around 14 or 18.
Yeah.
So welcome back, Bugsy. Yeah.
Can one of you guys, if my memory serves me, we were required for currency to do one conventional landing every 30 days.
Yeah.
Right? And when we were at Cherry Point, we would ask for the jog. Can one of you guys describe the jog at Cherry Point?
Okay. Cherry Point was a very unique looking runway configuration. I guess it essentially has 2 runways, but
less than right.
In the center of the airport is a thing called the center mat, or is it center mat?
Yeah, I think it's called the mat, center mat. Yeah.
So each runway came into it offset from each other slightly. So you had runway 5, I think it was. Anyway, the place looked like a cross.
5 and 2, 3, 1, 4, and 3, 2.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And 8,000 feet. Each runway is 8,000 feet.
Each runway that connected to the center mat.
Yes.
From each direction, the whole, for the 4 corners, came to the center mat. But if you could actually go from one runway across the center mat at an angle and proceed further down the other runway, which is pointing the same direction.
Which was called taking the jog.
And then taking the jog is what that was.
Requesting
so you would press the jog before conventional.
Yeah, and you
because 8,000 feet is usually not enough.
Okay.
And I proved that wrong. You can do it to 7,500 feet.
The jog? Oh yes. Oh yeah. But let me ask you this: have you ever? Because we used to marshal our flights there sometimes in that mat area, and I remember being parked there with airplanes on the other side, waiting for maybe another guy to join, and a Harrier go right by us, taking the jog.
Yeah. And he cleared for it.
Yes.
So while you sitting around.
Holy shit. Okay. Something else I wanted to.
Well, the other thing too, that wing's flying until 30 knots.
Yeah.
So you're going down, trying to decelerate. You're doing this.
Yeah, it's trying to fly.
Down. Yeah, it's trying.
So do you remember if we were doing a conventional landing, you had to do something with that flap switch or something bad was going to happen?
Oh, your conventional landings were done with the flaps in normal. There were 3 positions, like up, normal, which is where you flew around most of the time in.
Yeah.
They would program automatically down to 25.
Yeah.
If you put it in stall, they would start in 25 and program all the way down like 62.
With movement of the nozzles.
You move the nozzle.
Yeah.
Program from 25 down.
Can one of you guys? Did one of you guys ever happen to make that mistake? Because I did.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about what happens when you forget to put the flaps in the normal position or cruise?
Well, you get a face full of runway. On a good day, you get a face full of runway and manage to recover.
Why? Describe that.
Because as those nozzles come down, right, it lowers your angle or increases your angle of attack, pushes your nose down,
and you're flying again.
You're flying. You're back in the air, but you're at about it feels like about 50 degrees nose down. It's probably more like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's not comfortable.
Yeah,
if you live through it, you never do that again, which I did. Thank God.
I did it on my checkout as an instructor. It was my FAM instructor checkout with Pee Wee Herman in the back seat. And, he's rolling in on final. I'm getting ready to do the conventional landing. About 25 feet. Go around, repeat. Right. Climbing out. He goes, you fucking with me?
You're like,
no. He goes, I can't believe you just had your flaps installed for a conventional landing.
He saw that
and I'm like,
flaps are down at 25. Yeah.
And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Nice.
I never made that mistake again, thank God. But yeah.
All right. So speaking of V-stall situation, talk about what happened to you on the boat when you were flying onto the boat and what, what all that's about.
That'd be a good one, that motor would too. He was in the tower on that, but yeah, going out, bring the planes out to the boat. And the direction was.
So,
just put that up.
Bugs is getting ready to talk about coming aboard the boat. Everybody excuse the microphone noise and all that.
Absolutely.
We're swapping seats. Hot swap.
Seat swap.
Hot racking. So
the
all right, Bugs, start over. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the direction was that these planes are gonna go out to the boat. Don't bring it back to Cherry Point, right?
Yeah, that was rowdy.
Yeah,
I'll let you know if your airplane's broken. I heard he said that over the radio.
I wasn't naming names.
Yeah.
I wasn't naming names. So into the break, downwind, configure, and things are good. Coming around the approach turn, everything's good. And I'm getting in close, and I come to the hover stop, or so I thought, and I'm still hot. Everything nose up. The motor waves me off. Rightfully so.
Motor was the LSO.
Yes. Up in the tower.
Yeah.
So power comes up, I start to nozzle out, but the lever is jammed. And I look down, it's jammed at about 72 degrees, I think it was. And I conveyed that quickly to motor. The other complicating factor was it was warm, and this is on the water now, too. Okay, so you get the black smoke coming out and everything. And,
what's a black smoke mean?
Water.
Yeah,
something.
water.
Yeah. So I needed that thrust because if my dry numbers weren't good enough. So anyways, motor says, well, you see the beach over there? I said, I do, but we're not going to make it, So I pedaled around, and I think I gummed up your pattern for you, the guy that was on the approach turn. But I cut him off and came in and landed in a nose high attitude. And interestingly, as soon as I touched down and pulled the throttle back to idle, the nozzle worked again.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So as it turned out, the
mounts on the engine were not tightened. So when the thrust was vectored down, it pushed the engine up and it locked the nozzles. It couldn't rotate. So then when you landed and took the thrust off, then the engine settled back down. Then you were able to back to normal functioning of the thing.
Yeah.
To the.
So yeah. So it's another day.
Okay, but address one thing. I mean, we all know, but so for our listeners that aren't aviators, so why was not going to the beach going to be an option?
Well, I couldn't nozzle out, first of all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made.
You couldn't hover your way over to the beach.
No, so I couldn't.
You were more in hover mode than forward flight mode. Yeah.
I couldn't hover taxi over to the beach. It was too far, first of all.
Miles.
And now if I run out of water too, as I said, my dry numbers weren't good enough. I was too heavy for that, so it was going down to the water.
So because you had limited amount of time, meaning a limited amount of water, you had to be. The decision had to be made fairly quickly.
Right.
Options were almost none.
Yep.
And you remember what your ground speed was coming around the pattern with 70 nozzles? It had to be pretty fucking slow.
It was slow. It was real slow. I don't recall exactly, but the other thing too is I didn't have permission from Robbie. And I didn't have time to ask.
Rhymes with howdy.
Well,
no name.
had you started to the beach, you would have run out of water and probably run out of performance and jumped out of it. Yeah. So you probably should have DFC, right?
Yeah.
At least a Pelton.
Can we put them in for a DFC?
Let's do it today.
After the fact.
Yeah.
Probably got put on ODO watch instead.
Should have been put in hack.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, shit. All right.
Office hours or something.
All right. And so, and all three of you were on cruise with Biscuit on his last cruise in Spain. So, talking about a young Marine that we all flew with who tragically lost his life on a low level in Spain. Moto here did the crash investigation. Bugsy, you were his roommate on the boat, right? And Rusty, you were just there.
No, actually, they were prisoners.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dan and I and
Rudy
and Biscuit and actually Peterson.
Oh yeah,
big dude from shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
He was
I remember him. Yeah.
War officer.
Yeah, he could like bench press a VW.
He was big dude.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep up with anyone in there, but I was just kind of tagging along. They were nice enough to let me in the weight room.
Let you watch.
Yeah.
You liked that, didn't you, Rusty?
Yeah, we can talk about that later when you and I are alone.
Big spoon or little spoon, Rusty?
Now let's pause for just a minute here to tell you about another podcast that you should consider checking out. If you love World War II aircraft, history, and the stories behind the machines that shaped our skies, then World of Warbirds is a podcast for you. Host Brian Pierce is a pilot, educator, former flight instructor, and aviation historian whose mission is to tell the full story of these incredible aircraft, how they were conceived, designed, built, modified, and flown in combat. Some listener favorites from over the years have been the de Havilland and Mosquito, the four-parter on the Boeing B-17, the Luftwaffe's fire-prone Henkel HE-177 bomber, and of course Japan's Mitsubishi A6 Mike Zero. Like jets, Brian's third generation and operational Air Force fighter pilot collaborator has that covered too with her installments of Tanner's Just Jets. On World of Warbirds, you'll meet the people behind the planes, the engineers who drew the blueprints, the crews on the assembly lines, the pilots who took them into battle, and the ground crews who patched them up afterwards. You'll explore their impact on history and learn whether any survive today in museums, on display mounts, or are still flying, or if, sadly, all were just melted down as scrap. So if propellers, pistons, Norden bomb sights, and night fighters get your engine revving, then find Brian and World of Warbirds on YouTube, Patreon, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Who wants to say how Biscuit got his call sign?
That was
That's what his head looked like.
Gary Wortham. He was an 18 guy. Yeah. And he looked at him. We're all in Beeville. He looked at him and he says, "Fucking Biscuit."
And that was it.
Biscuit head.
Yeah, Biscuit head. Biscuit for
Carter was good at giving out calls.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Great guy.
That was VT-24 in Beeville. Yeah. Holy shit. So any good story from Biscuit? Either before or during the...
No, he was just a great pilot, very highly skilled. I'd call him certainly above average in piloting skills.
Yeah.
And just a great guy to hang around with. He always wanted to go out and see sights. He went out all over, Israel and all memes and all the places together.
Yeah.
He was just a fun guy.
Villanova grad. What else?
Great family.
Yeah.
His younger brother, was a combat engineer, officer.
That's right. Yeah.
Just a great.
Yeah, it was a tough one. And then
and you did the investigation on his accident as well.
Yeah, I was one of the members of the safety crew that went out and they collected all the wreckage from the field there in Villa de la Torre, Spain, and he captured all the stuff. We were getting ready to come back, basically, and got all those.
I was going to say it was
11. It was 11 at about 11 o'clock.
In 91.
91. That's, yeah. I remember
34
numbers
coming up.
kind of, come together. But they use those big Gaylord boxes, they're called, right? A forkliftable, like cardboard box with a real drywall or big thick walls, and just filled them up with everything. Goat shit and everything was in there because it was in a field.
It was pig.
Was it?
Hogs or
There was a bunch of animals out. Yeah.
Not any large pieces. So
No. Well, no, other than,
Well, the engine was
And-
probably the largest piece, right?
yeah, the engine always goes downrange and in a big ball. But yeah, everything was pretty small, just as much as
And that was
possible.
because of the speed of the impact.
The speed and the grazing angle, kind of the
high
grazing
speed, low
angle.
angle.
Yeah, yeah, and how to map it all out. Luckily, there were some people that had some surveying equipment and stuff, and they were able to draw a diagram that was pretty accurate. And then, you see the diagram, and it shows the direction of travel, and everything from the right hand side of the aircraft was on the left hand side of the direction of travel, and vice versa. So it was, obviously inverted. Just a
Yeah.
terrible.
And he had a jammed up aileron.
Yeah, there was out on the end of the wingtip near where the upper duct is and stuff. There's linkage, and one of the linkages could be installed in two different directions, and evidently at that time, and it was installed in the direction that caused it to contact one of the ribs or one of the surfaces inside the wing, and it just happened that there was impact witness marks on the two pieces that were able to kind of be put together in a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, a needle in a haystack's easy to find compared to that. I swear to God, you're looking at literally 100,000 pieces or more of airplane, and you find scratches, witness marks or scratches on a knuckle, on a joint, and you're able to piece that together. I mean, that is amazing. Yeah,
Before they even been found.
Yeah, you found that piece, right?
Well, it was a large group of people that were tasked to go out and gather what they could.
Yeah. And he almost survived that too. I mean, that's the thing, right? He bottomed out and got airborne or got up away from the ground and then ejected, right?
Yeah. I think there's a override. If I remember right, there's a spring override that allows a certain amount of force that if you use that 50 pounds or whatever, you can override the stop.
Yeah.
But holding the stop and trying to, do anything else, you either could do one task or the other.
Yeah,
you couldn't do both. You can't hold the stick and
do anything.
Yeah. That's your complete focus. So once that ceased, then the aircraft, the override, the spring came back on and it caused it to roll.
Yeah.
That's what we surmise.
Mm.
But yeah, through simulation and stuff, it was just like it was not recovering it.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but because there was a couple of us in the squadron that are all about the same time frame, right? And you put us one at a time in the sim, not telling us anything, and we flew that profile and had that failure. And we all did the same thing. We did the same thing that Biscuit did.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what he did, which, the thing is you couldn't hold it and do anything else. So why didn't we climb away from the ground? That's what we were all feeling.
Yeah, slow it, climb away, slow down, all that.
Yeah, it was all I could do in the simulator to just keep the wings swell.
Right. And the stop, once you hit the stop, a lot of folks didn't know you could go past it, but it took a fair amount of force relative to what you're used to in stick forces.
And he blew a guy off a bicycle, right?
The guy said it blew his hat off.
Yeah.
Said he was riding his bike and said he came over the top and took his hat off.
Yeah.
So he must have been
under 10 feet.
Yeah.
On the when he bottomed out and got away, and so
and the angle of the wing too. Dihedral in the wing.
In
your other anteater.
Yeah.
Which one it was? Yeah. So, but it appeared when it was upside down to be much like a normal.
Yeah.
And so when some of the witnesses saw it, they claimed that it was upright, but we surmised it was not because because it didn't. The story didn't add up from the evidence on the ground.
Yeah.
You heard about this, on the radio of all places.
Paul Harvey, News and Comment. Good day.
I remember you telling me this.
We were in Fallon, Nevada, on a det, and we'd gone up to Reno or Tahoe for the birthday ball, and we were on the way back from the birthday ball, and we were listening to Paul Harvey News, and the Marines lost. One of the most difficult airplanes to fly was the Harrier. And the Marines lost on one in Spain yesterday. We were like, oh shit. Yeah. We know who that is. That's our squadron that's over there. So that's how we learned about it. So it was sobering. Yeah, we was, I don't know, 6 or 8 of us in a van coming back from Tahoe. Oh, yeah, it was horrible. And then the other one memory I have, and I only guess that this stuck with me because we lost Biscuit on that debt, was before you guys left on that debt, he and I rode over to Base Legal in his Saab to do our wills, do the last will and testament. Well, someone's going to get my Saab. All right. That's it. That's right. So, yeah. No. At each other. Shit hot, man.
Good news.
Yeah.
A nice story.
Yeah.
It was, a couple of years ago, he was reinterred, right?
Right. Yeah, that's
He was buried up in Rochester area, if I recall, and then his dad passed away, John Driscoll, who was a Korean War Army vet, was an officer, tanker in the Korean War, and he passed away, and it was his wish to get him reinterred at Arlington National Cemetery. So Dan, the younger brother, through a lot of work and effort and some cooperation along the way from others, was able to make that happen. So they're interred together there in Arlington, which was really cool.
That was fantastic.
Were there for that too.
Yeah, that was a bittersweet day to get together with everybody and remember Biscuit there. But yeah, interred with fellow Marines and his pop in Arlington. What a nice honor. So, jeez.
Let's
All
bring it up a second.
Yeah, right.
Out loud.
Absolutely. Let's see.
Hey, let's
tell some Rusty
talk
stories.
about the day that we ripped all your clothes off and sent you back to your BOQ naked.
I don't
talk about.
I don't remember any.
There you go.
Okay, because I happen to know where the video is.
I've heard of people talking about somebody having that happen to them.
Well, let me help you out. It was in Iwakuni. We were having one of our Friday night or Saturday night parties. The furniture was out on the lawn, and there was a couch full of guys. And there was a couch. There was a bunch of dudes standing around, being drunk Marines, and you would come up and push this group of guys.
Well, you guys are in
into
like
the
a
couch.
scrum.
The couch would flip over.
You would
walk away. Nobody knew.
You guys are all like all arms, over each other's shoulders in a circle, and I would.
Yeah,
he sent.
I don't hope you guys lay down with each other because you seem like you're enjoying.
He sent 10 guys ass over tea kettle.
All by yourself. And I think you did that twice, and on the third, somebody said we're going to watch who's doing it. It was you, and they grabbed you, and then
I walked back to my room just holding my flight suit in tatters over my genitals. But there was not a stitch of clothing on the other. I was just what I was covering.
Fortunately, it only took about a stitch.
Hold on. You did have your boots on.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Going to die with your boots on. Oh, man. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and very impressive, by the way. It took a half a dozen dudes to hold you down to get.
Well, I want you to fill me up with beer. I got plenty of carbs. I'm ready to fight.
In fact, I seem to remember you walking away. It took 10 of you fuckers to. I knocked you all over. It took 10 of you fuckers to beat me up.
It took 10 of you.
Oh, great shit.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Yeah. Hold on. Anybody here go over the Zero Hangar in Iwakuni? Asking for a friend. Oh, the Zero Hangar.
What?
Yeah. Right? Everybody did. Yeah.
That's why it went over this.
And came down on her knees and her elbows all the way down the backside. Yeah. So, yeah, it looks like a concrete Quonset hut, just big enough to hold a Japanese Zero. And the Japanese were clever enough to put a sign up on both sides of that hangar that said "Keep off," which Marines go, "What? Run over this thing?"
Let me on.
Why does that sign must be there for a reason? I think that says "Run over this."
Only after you've had a lot of alcohol.
That's right. Alcohol may have been involved, but we're living through chemistry.
And there was a Zero.
Yeah, there was a Zero in there.
Fully intact.
Yeah. Well, I know I've never looked under it, but I assume so. So fantastic. Oh, and here you go. Sleeper, come on over here. We got a story that you and Rusty get to share on. You told this story when I think you were episode 2, Sleeper, maybe 3, somewhere in there. You joined us way back when But you're the one who, when you were a little boy, your mother said, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it? And you said, hell yeah, Mom, I'm in.
You have the whole. Well, back to this one. What was the dumbass on that one? Yeah, so we're going out there trying to keep up with the Rusty Rudy show.
Yeah. Itchy and scratchy.
Scratchy. Did you jump?
No,
Yeah, he didn't jump.
no,
He had too much
particularly after watching him.
Yeah, well, so I'm out there. Rudy.
Yeah.
He's been doing so much. I'm watching him. Of course, he's smart. And he's freaking. It doesn't matter how he hits. He's got so much muscle. He's gonna.
Yeah, he just makes his body rigid.
But he's rigid like a dumbass. I jump off with somebody, and we're both going down. And we measured the bridge later on. It's 130 feet. It's a long ways down. We measured that. So when I go jump, I'm looking. My vector is going directly, and our vectors are joining like a dumbass. I start flying like a bird, like I can fly.
Yeah.
So
Slap faster, bitch.
with a bad entry, and freaking Rusty here videotape this thing. So now I have to hear this wimpy whine coming out of my voice. And, this is yeah. And I borrowed somebody's shoes, and back then they had these shoes, the tennis shoes. Had the balloon on the side of them, kind of.
Yeah.
It actually blew it out. And I'm barely getting out of there. And he's cracking up because you still have the video. Listen to him.
Tell me you have that video.
I had his.
I think Rudy always had a camcorder.
Okay.
So I was holding this.
Of course, it didn't take that much longer because that's all coming back. I get back up there. I think who was with us? Hey, who was our maintenance officer at the time? I remember young
Ike.
Yeah.
Ike was the maintenance.
Who was he? Who was the lieutenant? The lieutenant. Remember
Markward.
Yeah, Markward. We remember the side story of the debaucheries tangent when we tied his ass up to a tree and taped him. Remember that?
Don't.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, but let's go back. So, here's how I screwed up. I was in the head. I get back up there, up to the bridge, and I'm asking Rusty. I'm going, dude, time is. I think I got a sortie. This is all of a sudden. I think I got a little fly.
You were concussed.
I was messed up. Just so I actually did have a sortie the next day. Who was it with? Bugsy over here. Well, he's going out because I'm like junior officer. I'm going to have the guys trying to teach me this crap. We're going to do 1v1, and it was like twice. And he just knock it off. We're done because we come to the merge, and we do like a 2-circle fight. Is what it was. We're both turning left to left on each other, and I'm turning around. I can't bend my neck.
That's Stacy and
Kicked his ass twice.
I can't even bend my neck. Last side. Okay, knock it off. So we come back, being good bunch. Last side. I couldn't do it. Matter of fact, so we came back, and I'm sure Bugs at the time was probably pissed. You piece. I know he was because he's a pro. He's like Skull, man. They were just like snap and pop. Let's get some good training out of this. I was so screwed up. They actually had to get the lineman had to come out and kind of help me out of the cockpit. My neck's good now.
Yeah.
So Mark, what was that? I mean, this
Donnie Markward.
Donnie Markward.
Yeah.
So no, he pulled some of that stuff like Krusty here would do. Like he was being a smart ass. During our drunken debauchery because we were sitting there out there outside of whose was that your Pooch? We were outside. We always had the parties.
That was Slats.
Yeah,
pulled all the couches out of Slats' room and Cube.
Maybe investigation, whatever, is all outside watching us sometimes.
Yeah.
And so with him, kicking over the couch and drunken debauchery and stuff.
Lighting the lawn on fire.
Yeah, Mark Ward, what it was? Mark Ward?
Donnie Markward.
Donnie Markward. Yeah. He was pulling that crap for a while. And I don't know if you guys remember. So one night we said, okay, enough of that crap. We actually took duct tape and tied him to a tree. We tied him to a freaking tree. He couldn't move. Whatever we had on us, it was whipped cream or something. We just said, let's just do a pattern here. We're running around just throwing shit out of space. So he's all covered in whipped cream or whatever, tied to a tree at night. And we leave him. We just left him. Something by and got him loose or something. So, and that's probably just one of 100 of debauchery stories.
Remember the typhoon that came through?
Yeah.
You guys
Oh, yeah.
I think I sent you that picture. He and I hanging out on the tree, sideways.
I can look.
Oh, yeah.
We had that. We're just hanging on. We probably exaggerated a little bit.
Well, it was all funny games until we saw this blur go zipping by.
Oh, that's right.
And everybody was screaming because they were all inside Slats' room. And we said, "Well, what?" And he goes, "It was a fucking trash can." Dude, look at the time.
We're gonna get hit by something, and it ain't gonna be pretty.
It came by at 100 plus.
Yeah,
Because it was whipping.
holy food.
It wasn't outside. That's my fault, bro.
So,
I heard you guys talking about coming in hot, conventional.
Yeah.
Did you hear the moto story? So one similar. But he,
We were talking about conventional lands earlier.
yeah, he actually had to take a jog. And I was asked, I said, "Have you read this?" I always worried if you did that, could you actually make the jog? And there's no freaking way. He said he did it, and it sucked.
Yeah, it sucked. So similar story with the takeoff. I was doing a PMCF flight and full of fuel.
What does PMCF stand for?
Post maintenance check flight.
Yeah.
So
when heavy maintenance
after-
done on the airplane, you got
after certain maintenance is done, you take it out and test that it's going to function properly.
before you let morons like me go fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So doing what I thought was just a routine post maintenance check flight and full of fuel, took off. As soon as took off, the fire light came on. So the procedure, if I remember right, is you put the nozzles forward so that there's no bleed, then land as soon as possible or eject. That's pretty much every emergency procedure. Yeah. So land immediately or eject. So it turned downwind, lined up on the runway, declared emergency, and asked for the option for the jog. And it was available. So, I had an emergency, so they go ahead. Lined up on 3-2, to come in for a conventional landing and try to touch down like you were at the very end of the runway. So I'd have as much distance as possible to stop because I couldn't use the reverse thrust for slowing down. Well, as soon as I touched down, I took the throttle lever, pull it back to idle, and the engine shut off. Well, when the engine shuts off, the generator kicks offline. Now it's hot nose wheel steering and no brakes. Well, you have brakes, but no anti-skid. So I'm 180 knots, hot nose wheel steering, and no anti-lock, no anti-skid on the main gear, which is the only little brakes could stop the damn thing. Or it will blow the tires up. And I was kind of going too fast to touch the brakes. So I'm looking down the taxiway where all the C-130s are parked and stuff. And I'm thinking the taxiway straight ahead might be, through the warm-up area and down the taxiway might be a little easier to negotiate than the jog. Because when I looked, the jog, it looked like it was a country mile over to the side because it's offset quite a bit.
Yeah, a few hundred feet.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah. So rolling down about the two board, I'm like, I got to take the jog, and it started to touch the rudder pedal, which steered the nose wheel. And I just remember like leaning, the aircraft was like leaning over to the side and just feeling like, well, I might not make this, and kind of coming back to the middle. And then it starts doing that teeter totter back and forth, and the crown of the runway and the speed, it was, I remember, it was 125 knots. Dude. 125 at least.
That's good stuff, man.
And I'm just thinking, this might be the time I might need to just get out, but I hope it doesn't go down the taxiway into the C-130s down there. So
just C-130s.
Hang in here a little bit.
I hate tanking on those things.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll show you guys.
Could be a dead bastard.
But the same thing, that the arresting gears were always down, most of the time for operations anyway. So luckily it was, but about the 3 board on the after the jog, there was 3,000 feet remaining. I had started trying touching the brakes, and that's the mains blew, and so I was bobbling up and down and going down the runway, but I had to use what brakes there were because that was it. There was nothing else. And probably it wasn't right at the end of the runway, similar to what you had, but within 1,000 feet of the end of the runway, the thing came to rest. And of course it's sitting on the flat tires and the nose sticking up and the crash fire rescue crews coming out and everything. And
3 miles later.
Yeah, it was 1,200. What was it? 13,500 feet or something to stop
Total
on the landing.
Well, it's 2 8,000-foot runways plus
the center.
In the center mat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm down at the end, and I just remember I took the ejection seat safe lever and pulled it up, opened the canopy, and got out. And they're like, "Are you okay? You want to ride back?" I'm like, "No, I'm walking." And I walked all the way back to the squadron, and I was like, "Man, I don't know whatever was found on what caused the fire light to come on, but something
you did. I'm sure.
Yeah, probably needed to be ODO that day.
Share with us how the rest of your PMCs went after that.
Well, I realized that the extra couple of flight hours a month probably wasn't worth doing PMCFs. I think that might have been the last. That might have been the last one I did, because I was like, okay. I walked through the hangar last night and I saw the wing off that airplane and the engine over there, and the guys are playing grab ass. Yeah. And they tell me, in the morning it'll be ready.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
And then I'm like, go home and get a little sleep and come back, and it's all put together. They're like, yeah, you can go fly now.
You'll be fine, sir.
You know what came to mind when you said I just walked back? I'm thinking, he's like, yeah, I'm going to walk this off.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I need a break. Let me think about what just happened.
So we've been going a while here. We're going to wrap it, but the PMCF reminds me of one other quick story. Back in 2003, we had Reckless was the AMO, and he's out doing a PMCF on a T-Bird, and he took with him Doogie. You all remember Stefano Battaglia, the Italian pilot who looked exactly like Neil Patrick Harris, hence the call sign Doogie. And so he goes up with Reckless on a PMCF, and the profile calls for you to shut the engine down and relight it. And he's like, Reckless, you do know that we only have one engine. She's like, what are you nuts, shutting down? I said, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think they took that out of it. There's no need to do that. No. So
it's tempting fate.
Didn't Chaos stick a Harrier that had an engine fail in flight and dead?
I thought it was. It must have been an A then, because I don't think the B, didn't the hydraulics lock up on you?
I believe so.
If you engine failed, it was mandatory ejection.
That's why Nightmare jumped out.
Yeah.
Eventually, because it locked up.
Yeah. Maybe it ran till a certain speed, but I think below about 200 knots, you lost your hydrastics.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll have to go back and listen.
Did you have one more?
A quick anecdote about that. What's the guy's name again?
Doogie.
Yeah. Wasn't there a story about him? Didn't he have an engine blow up on him?
Yeah, out in Yuma. No, he was out in the chocolates in Yuma. He gave a 408, a night attack bird, back to the government. So
he's rolling down the runway. The engine comes apart on takeoff, right? Is this how the story goes? Do you remember?
I thought he was in the I could be wrong. I don't remember. There's two different.
We had the Spanish exchange.
Yes, that's one.
Oh, Julio. You're talking about Julio.
And Julio. So we had lost like 2 or 3 Harriers.
Yeah.
We did, our squadron, but the fleet did.
Yeah.
And it was like nothing was left. And like nobody really knows what happened to the plane.
Yeah.
And I was walking into the hangar from finishing a sortie, still had my helmet on, and I heard somebody running up. You remember you'd run up and do the nozzle, do the duct pressure check, and then you go. So I heard that happening as I'm walking up on the runway right behind our right behind our flight line. And then I heard him go full powered. And then I heard what sounded like somebody emptied the entire bottle of lighter fluid.
Bolts.
Charcoal grill. You know that sound? I heard that sound, and I turn around and I'm like, some burning ball of fucking fire going down the runway with just the nose of the Harrier sticking out.
Yeah.
He got it stopped, the canopy came flying back, and he made one step, and he was in the grass.
Yeah.
But the crash fire rescue was right there, and they put it out.
Yeah.
So now I had a completely intact airplane. And that's when they found it was turbo blades. They were shedding.
That's right.
Blade.
Yeah.
Grounded the whole fleet and did an inspection. They were looking for a certain badge.
Yeah, there was splatter. Yeah, there was a metal splatter in the turbines. Yeah.
So the funny part of the story is that he goes off to the side of the runway, sits down on his helmet, pulls out a cigarette, and starts smoking right there. And they come up to him and say, "What the hell happened?" He goes, "It just blew as he's taking another puff.
Yeah. And the other thing he used to do was so Mexico cuts into Arizona there, right by Yuma, and he'd fly across Mexican airspace. They'd come up on guard, and he'd yell at them back in Spanish, like, launch your T-28s. Send them up. I will shoot them down. So, gents, thank you so much for sharing this time with us. We're going to wrap it up right here. God bless and Semper Fi. Hey, happy birthday, Marines.
Well, folks, we need to say thanks to all of our veterans and active duty men and women for, doing what you do. Yesterday was Veterans Day. Big day to acknowledge all the sacrifices that every veteran and active duty member of our armed services have made and will continue to make. And that extends to their families.
Right.
Because without family support, it doesn't happen.
Too often unacknowledged. That's exactly right. Thanks also to Dave Hamilton over at backbeatmedia.com, who provides advertising and support, general knowledge support for our show. Thank you, Dave. We're deeply appreciative for all you've done for us and for the show.
Ditto. And thanks to everyone who donates through Patreon. You're the reason we can keep doing this, because this costs money to actually produce. It's crazy. But you have lost all common sense and you donate to us, and we are so humbled. So thank you.
We are. Yeah. So all of you, and if you'd like to donate, you can go to sotherewas.us/Patreon or sotherewas.us/donate and prove to your friends and family that you have no financial sense and give us money.
And there's that. And a special thanks also to Badass. That's Brad Silcott at bdsaviationphotography.com for all the art that we use on our website and on our show. And as a side note, he had at our reunion, what size were those? Those were big pictures. Those are big.
Yeah, those actually had to be, they were probably 3x5. They were
3x5 mounted, and we all signed them. And one's going to the squadron, and I don't know what we're going to do with the other one.
Well, one's back to Badass.
Oh, one's going back to Badass. Yeah.
Badass is going to have a copy. Yeah, that we all signed the photo of an AVP Harrier with the 223 paint scheme on it, the orange like or red and yellow rather.
Yeah, air show paint scheme. It looked really, really nice. Very, very well done. So thanks, Badass.
Indeed. Thank you. Deeply, deeply grateful. Hey, thanks also Sticks and Bago, who do often produce the show for us, sit in the background and come up with information and things for us before we even know we need it. We're grateful to them for that. Yeah. And have found a guest or two for us here and there. And we're always grateful for that. So, and if you know somebody who needs to be a guest on this show, reach out to us, either at repeat, REPETE, at sotherewas.us or FIG at sotherewas.us. Let us know who we should reach out to and invite them on the show with us.
Absolutely. Finally, the 2 Air Force F-16 pilot that makes the entire Air Force sound good. That's the Dos Gringos. 4 albums, not a bad song on any one of them. And if you're having a bad day, you should listen to some of their music because it'll make you laugh.
Right. It's fantastic stuff. I guess the best advice we can give somebody until next week is just because your friends jump off the bridge, don't you do it.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. Cause when you're going down in the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Hold on, Fig. What'd he say?
He said it's over.
Jeez, I cracked myself.
We're
out.